This is Legacy Bench, where professionals, founders, and creators come together to share real ideas, real experiences, and real advice, hosted by Princely.
Hi everyone, thank you very much for tuning in today. My name is Princely Sam, and you're welcome to Legacy Bench. So guys, I reckon we all know the rules and we know the format, so let's get started. So let's quickly start by introducing ourselves, and then we're going to let Jonathan start. So let's just introduce ourselves quickly.
Regarding the rules, every guest gets 1 minute to share their story, challenge, or idea. Then the bench responds using the AAA method: advice, appreciate, and advice, offering support, guidance, and practical next steps. Today's session features one founder, one actress, and one film producer. Don't forget to comment below for a chance to win $500. Let's go back to the video.
Excellent. So my name's Johnny Hurst. While I am a founder of one business and have another one in the making, I'm here today as an ambassador for HelpBank. But HelpBank is a platform, an ecosystem, and a for-profit, for-good business that provides free help, support, advice to everyone from early stage founders to established business people on a sort of give without take, no expectation basis. And I'm here really to share not so much about the platform, but the things that I've learned and for the power in helping other people for both my personal growth and business growth.
So are you sort of a founder or co-founder of HelpBank? Or
I'm not, no, I'm an ambassador for HelpBank. So I'm one of the founding ambassadors. So early last year, they took on 6 of us who were all people within the ecosystem that were already helping people through our own businesses or through whatever we were doing, and had been supporting HelpBank to that point, to sort of go out there and talk about the platform, signpost people to help, deliver help, specific help where we could do, and then also attend events and online sessions where we could support that.
Okay, well, that's good. So we're going to let people on the bench just chip in a bit, and then we're going to see how they could support you or suggestion they want to make. So Jane, let's start with you. Let's see how you want to support Johnny and see what you could advise you could do better.
Hi. So what growth would you be potentially looking at, or where or what would you like to grow?
I mean, HelpBank itself is big, and it's got the entrepreneur Simon Squibb, who I'm sure we've all heard of, behind it. So really what we want to do is to get as many people on board who have an idea, don't know how to action that, how to move forward with it, but also founders and entrepreneurs who have been there and done that to come onto the platform and start helping people. So it's really about, apart from the sort of channels we have at the moment, individually, what could I do, especially locally, to sort of bring people into that and let them know about it and how it all works to help them.
So is this like a kind of motivational, helping each other platform for entrepreneurs and business owners? And are you going to be looking at scale as in for any profit around that, or have you got a plan?
The HelpBank itself is a for-profit, for-good business, okay. And it's already doing well in that respect. The actual HelpBank itself is based on an online platform where people can come on, create a profile, and go on and ask questions. It runs 4-week accelerator programs, taking people from like ideation stage to first sales. We have the Doorbell of Dreams, Simon's Doorbell, where you can go and pitch your business idea or dream to the doorbell. And then it's then shared throughout the ecosystem, and people can see that and then contact them and help. And then we also have sort of in-person events as well, networking events, pitching events, that sort of thing that people can come along to. It is out there on social media. I mean, Simon himself has got 21 million followers across social media. Obviously, he talks about it. We've not got that many with HelpBank. It's still building up with the social media side of stuff. But you would have thought with all that following that everybody would know about it.
Yeah.
But not everybody, most people know who Simon is, but don't know about HelpBank. And as an ambassador, my job is to get more people to know about the platform, aside from the social media side of things they're doing. And what I'm trying to do through content and come onto things like this and attending events myself and putting on events myself is let more people know that's there to help them for free.
As a founder myself, I understand how hard it is running a business. It's very hard. And yeah, getting a community is priceless. You need community, you need structures of people that would help you. It's really hard to run a business because it's different between having an idea, like we said in one of the episodes. Having an idea is just good, but implementing the idea is key. So having that community, it's very, very good. So I know you touched on that. So let's talk about the mission. if we get people on the platform, help bank, and then help them raise money, what's the end goal of the whole help bank? Sorry.
I mean, the sort of the whole reason that it's been set up is to provide essentially an alternative to the education system.
Okay.
So you've got young and old who have come through this traditional education system of go to school, go to college, go to university, and now you've got 700,000 roughly people left university last year without a job, and they've not been taught by anybody how to follow this entrepreneurial path. So the sort of end goal of getting people onto the platform is to take them from wherever they are in that business journey, and then get them to the point where they have the success, however they define that they want from that business. But then also we want to bring people in who are already there and want to come in and help these people through as well.
So before the accelerator program, so let's talk about the community. So is it peer-to-peer, or do we have like an authority figure on the platform, or someone that is Simon directly training these people? Because I understand as a community, so is it just the way Legacy Bench is, where I have to help her, she has to help you? Or is it we have a head figure, which is Simon, helping people on the bench? Is there?
I mean, Simon very much in what he does is sort of separate to Help Bank in a way. There's a whole team around Help Bank, which is made up of marketing experts, sales experts, people who are in senior positions who have started and exited businesses. Okay. So when it comes to things like coaching calls, people can come on and, for example, and take and I say purchase, sign up to a starter kit, which gives them the tools to start a business and gives them £150 to help them. And part of that's a coaching call. Okay. So they'll go on with one of the more senior management figures who have, been in business, maybe exited one already, and they will get support from them. Within platform, a lot of it is a case of, I have a question about how do I market my clothing brand? And you'll go on and say, I've got a problem marketing my clothing brand. This is what I'm doing, but it's not working. Who's got some advice for me? And that's very much peer-to-peer.
So sort of any person could comment?
Anybody can comment, yeah. It's then down to individuals to take out whatever value from that. But then there's also online sessions, quite often run by well-known entrepreneurs and industry professionals that occur. We have 3 Zoom sessions a week with various people within the community, within the Help Bank team, where people can come and ask questions and share sort of help and advice as well.
So it's sort of an incubation platform. It's sort of like an online incubation platform.
In a way, yeah. We do have sort of accelerator programs that have just started there as well. So you can join, and then you have stage by stage daily tasks to complete, along with sort of virtual sessions with industry professionals and people within the platform. And they take you from idea stage to first sale within 4 weeks. And then there's prize money at the end for people who are picked at an event at the end as well.
I do like the ideas.
It's brilliant. We have people coming on who spent thousands of pounds on these accelerator programs and got nowhere. And then the feedback that Help Bank's getting from these 4-week ones. We only run one. We're in the middle of another one now. Dubai one. We've expanded it to Dubai. And they're saying the value that they're getting compared to the courses they paid for is just unreal. And quite often they're like, how are you doing this for free? They just don't really believe it.
Well, that's good. That's good. Thank you very much. Katie, have you got maybe a suggestion, or do you want to ask more questions so you could understand the platform more better?
I would love to understand it more better. Like, do you have any examples of like what kind of industries do you mainly support?
I mean, it's any industry essentially. Mm-hmm. And it's all about getting your questions out there onto the platform, raising them in the in-person sessions, either on Zoom or actual physical events, and drawing people towards you through your questions and through the help that you're asking for within those industries. Sometimes, I know we spoke before about what it is you want to do. Mm-hmm. It might be there's no one specifically there, but when you're trying to perhaps build a business around what you're doing, there's elements of business that you need that aren't necessarily related to exactly what you're doing, but people who can help you start that there. And it's sort of about putting you in a space with people who can connect you and help you along that sort of path that you're on. And I know we started that already. I've already connected with somebody before we started.
Okay, so beside being an ambassador for Help Bank, what's your role beside bringing awareness to the platform?
It's essentially bringing awareness to the platform, and that's more of my reason for being here today, rather than help with how I do that, because it's all very well structured. It's to make people aware, those that are here if you need help, or those people that watch the episode, that if you're struggling, because being a founder and entrepreneur can be quite lonely, there is a community out there that not only will help guide you through it, but they will do it for free. It's totally without expectation. And by the nature of the people like myself, for example, giving up my time and helping people for free with my experience, by nature, you will get help from other people and advance yourself that way.
Wow, that's really good. That's exciting. That's good. Thank you very much, Johnny. So we could move into the next person on the bench. But before we let Johnny go, have you got something you want to add up to what he just said?
No, just wish you all the best with it.
Thank you.
Sounds like
Thanks,
it's
Sophie.
a good, positive space where people can grow, and I feel like we need more spaces like that.
I think we hear a lot of sort of horror stories about those sort of things, where a lot of people are left with putting so much of their time and energy and money into that sort of thing and not receiving much back. And I think for something to be free and able to help someone grow is such a obviously a positive thing. So
Because I'm in that space and I have a business and I'm in the starting another one, I didn't feel like when asked why you wanted to come and share, I didn't feel like I needed necessarily to come and share what I'm doing and ask for help and advice, because I have that support. And I thought, well, let's come and talk about where I get my support from and let people know that that's there.
yeah.
Okay.
Great.
Well, thank you very much. And so we jump into the next person. So Katie, tell us about yourself. Let's get to know what you're building and see how we could support you.
Thank you. I'm Katie. I'm a recent film school graduate.
Okay.
I've had a lot of success with my film recently, but I think what I'm struggling with at the moment is just the industry in general. You know, I've come from a film school, I've had a lot of success, but I think getting into the industry is something that's a problem at the moment, especially since COVID, for younger people to find their way in. When you're taught a lot of times in the film industry, it's who you know and things like that. And that sort of changed into something that's quite closed off. You can't seem to get into it as easily as you could before. And so that's what I want to talk about today.
Okay. So during your interview stage, you talked about winning an award.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
won a Royal Television Society award for my film. And I just recently won an award from the Athens International Film Festival as well. And I've had a lot of success, like screening my film across the country as well as in New York and things like that. So that's something that's really beneficial to me. I think I've had a lot of success within that area, but I think a lot of people like me and my age are struggling with is finding a way into the industry that creates sort of more experience for us and more long term.
Do you think there's a gatekeeper
jobs.
stopping people from going in, or what do you think it's stopping people from either succeeding in the film industry?
I definitely think that coming from the lockdowns and COVID, I think a lot of film sets are very closed off, not wanting to hire younger people, you know, take that risk into hiring people that may not be as experienced as
Okay.
the people that are already in it. And a lot of jobs are either unpaid or extremely low pay. And, you know, just having, you know, the time and the energy to go to film sets unpaid. A lot of us are working full time in hospitality and having to do spend a lot of hours on making like video messages basically to different companies. A lot of companies ask for video messages and like just different cover letters and everything. So it seems like it's just a lot of work for younger people, especially trying to divide their time in between work and finding the time to break into that industry and understand how we can.
Okay, so I do have a few questions I would like to ask you, but I'm just going to let people on the bench chip in, and I do feel we're gonna get to Jane because I feel she could have a lot to say to you because you're in a bit the same industry, and also I think this is also one of the reasons why we have Legacy Bench, where we have connection, but also people supporting people. But I'll let Johnny chip in because Johnny is the ambassador for helping people. So yeah, so I'll let Johnny say something to just support you or advise you. Yeah.
I mean, first of all, I've got to say, join Help Bank, and we'll go through that after, because you can regularly post what you're doing and the struggles you're facing, and there may be someone in there who can offer some actionable advice, maybe someone that can recognise what you're doing is in the same space. But I think apart from that, my advice would be sort of twofold. Like you mentioned there that everyone's sending in videos, and you know you're sending all this stuff into these places, but that's what everyone's doing. So it's harder to get noticed because everyone's doing that.
Yeah.
And you know, you want to think that when these things arrive on people's desks that all their time is being put into sitting there
Yeah, but
looking
it's
at your
not.
stuff. It's probably not.
Yeah.
So you need to look at ways to get yourself noticed differently. I think you've got a great story, and especially on social media, storytelling is the way forward. brands, especially now in general, the ones that do better are the storytellers, not the ones that are just posting stuff. So face the camera, telling people about your journey, what you've done, posting your work, what you're trying to do, and grow a following around you and then you'll start getting noticed. And then as well, try and put yourself in rooms with the people that are in this industry. So search for networking events specifically within that industry, online groups, and like just doing things like this, like you've come today. And I know someone, we spoke before, I know a girl she's now Simon's EA, who worked for Warner Brothers in production. So I'm going to try and connect these two so they can have a conversation.
Yeah.
But that comes from putting yourself in spaces like this where you can speak with other people. And just think about differently how you approach getting your message out there. I think certainly the storytelling on social media about your journey, your awards, showcasing, I mean, when you've done a film, that's so much short form content you could put out there to draw people to that and get people noticing you that way. And then someone could pick up on you from there.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we had a lady that was the same industry as yourself, came to the show. I think that was the 4th episode. And it was the same suggestion. You need to build a brand around yourself. Yeah, if you build a brand around yourself, it's so much easier for other people to want to affiliate themselves to you, because now you've got a lot of followings. You've got people, So I'll let Jane say something, because Jane is in your industry and I reckon she has a lot to advise you with. Yeah.
Hi, I'm gonna say something that's probably a little bit, I don't really know how to describe it. What's the correct terms?
Groundbreaking.
Maybe.
Okay.
Probably not really that is said, but is the God's honest truth. There's a reason why the film industry is hard. Because this is the top tier. People are so passionate about it. Now, I would advise anybody, if you're going to do it, this is a lifetime. And you do have to fight, because you're up against people who are very passionate. This is more than just a hobby to them. Some of them, it's their sole purpose for why they're doing this. This is not something that they're just hoping to get a bit of fame from. This is like a soul-driven, why I'm here. If you feel that that's the same urge, then just get prepared to see this as a full-time scale thing. And I think there is a reason why it's hard, because I think that people who break through should deserve to be there. And I think it should be tough. To be completely honest with you, I think only the good people and the one who fought for it deserve to be there.
Yeah.
That's something that I believe and I'm very passionate about, because if you're at the top of the chain and you're in a position where you can influence the world and do big multi-million films, you've got to say a story that means something. Even Hollywood at the moment is starting to finally get that. We want stories that we can be inspired by. So you should have to fight for this. It should be tough. And I'm sorry, but I think you should have to do whatever it is you've got to do. Because once you've done that, and once you've got yourself in a position where you know what you've been through, you know how many times that you have build yourself, you'll be such a good position where you can manage a massive film set with over 100, 200, it depends what film you do, thousands of people, fire issues, hazard issues. I mean, it's not just an idea. I mean, people have died on film sets. People don't understand the level of what you're going into. And also, you're saying a message. So make sure that message means something. So let it be a struggle. Let it be hard. Do 50 billion jobs to get there. Build yourself up so that when somebody's watching this and they're going, I'm having to work this job and that job, they're listening to somebody go, I did it as well.
Yeah, that's right.
And I'm here. And I did it for 5-10 years and I built my strength and I built my mind, and I've got a story from struggling that somebody can sit there and watch and go, I resonate with that person.
100%, yeah.
So I feel very strongly about this. And I think it shouldn't be easy.
If it was easy, everyone would do it. Yeah, 100%.
It's not worth it if it's easy. It should be hard, and you should fight for it, and you should be in a position where you're proud in what you've done. Sorry. passionate about that.
Wow, that was good.
And the Oscar goes to.
Yeah. Oh, that was
Sorry about
really
that.
good. Yeah, I do also believe the same. It should be tough.
It should.
Yeah, it should be. But at the end of the day, you're gonna look back and be like, I did it. I did it. Yeah, there might be scars, but I did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think she was talking. I was just about to say preacher, preacher.
I think with anything, I mean, it's obviously a very tough space to get into, but I think with anything in general, all this hard work that you've got to put into anything, and the sleepless nights and the anxiety and the being skint and all, you know, having to work the extra jobs, it's just the story behind the overnight success.
It makes you who you are.
Exactly.
And it's like, I look back over all the years of struggles that I've done to get into the position that I'm in now. And I praise every struggle that I've ever had. And I wouldn't be the grounded person that I am now if it wasn't from all of that, you know, mess ups and mistakes and failures. And I think so many people want to weigh in. And it's like, honey, just build it yourself. You know, build that will yourself, let it fall down, and then rebuild it with all the mistakes that you've made. And that's where you will find the most successful people. They'll have these similar stories.
100%.
So let's not skip it. Like, let's go to hard work. That's what I say.
100%. Yeah. Do you know that there's something like you said, let your passion consume you. Yeah. So. Yeah, so you wanted to say something before I stopped you?
Yeah, but I can't remember what it was now. I was just too engaged. I was too engaged with our Oscar winner over there.
Very passionate about this.
Yeah, no, that was good. If you see a lot of people that have made it, there's always that story and that scar that this is, I did this for 5 years, but there was a day where I came face to face with opportunity. I grabbed it because I've waited a long time. I was so ready. You could be in a space where he was just about to connect you to someone that could literally change your life, but you need to be ready to grab it.
Amen.
And it's not just about motivation, because we hear motivation every day, but there's difference between motivation and just being ready to grab the opportunity. Because you could get motivated, but if you're not ready, if you've not shed your skin, if you've not done a lot, you could just see an opportunity, but you're still trying to explain, oh, I've worked hard. No, you could just grab it. Yeah, get the number from him and just connect. And
We'll connect on LinkedIn. I'm not promising anything. It's about connections.
I just want to add on what you said, if I don't mind. You've got a very, very valid point, because people keep on chasing money, but if you haven't managed something very small very well, what's the point in giving you loads of money and a big opportunity that you could just fumble? Like, it's so important to have something small, do it very well, and then slowly build up, instead of try and run and jump and then just miss an opportunity, end up in debt and all that crap.
really, yeah.
I think coming from someone who's obviously at the start of my journey, sort of trying to get opportunities and jobs, I think I'm not ungrateful for the opportunities that I've had, and for the fact that, you know, I've had some experience. But I think, having said what you said, which I think is completely true, I think there is a sort of a barrier in the film industry. I understand that there's a barrier for a reason. There's incredibly talented people in film, and it's a completely competitive industry. Like, a lot of industries are very competitive at the moment. I think a lot of people, what young people are struggling with now is just sort of the fact that a lot of opportunities aren't advertised, aren't easily accessible for a lot of people. And I understand you need to work hard, but a lot of times you're not in a space in the first place. A lot of times when you go to the networking opportunities, you're met with people who are just in the same boat as you. There isn't anyone who can guide you in any way. Because that might be a pessimistic way of looking at it, but I think it's definitely hard, especially for people who have come from lockdown as well, COVID-19. Like, a lot of film sets are stuck in the ways that they don't want to hire new talent, and a lot of people are struggling to figure out what's my next step, how do I get there.
Can I just say, because you're not meant to get advice from somebody, you're meant to build your path yourself. Like, a lot of real successful people have gone down so many different avenues. Like, I think Absolutely Fabulous, what was her name? I cannot even remember her
Joanna
name.
Lumley.
Thank you. Joanna Lumley was a model, and she really wanted to be an actress, and she kept on having doors slammed in her face, and she ended up going round going into theatres, knocking on doors. She then eventually, I think, got an audition with AbFab, and she had to fight tooth and nail, and she was already a model.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
I just feel like you have to, there's nobody who's going to really advise you.
No.
You have to just figure it out, and being resourceful really helps.
I think obviously you can't just go around thinking, oh, someone's going to advise me on this.
Yeah.
Someone's going to, you have to be your own advisor, especially in an industry that's so competitive. You have to advertise yourself, make sure that you are building a brand for yourself. But I think it's not something that I'm trying to blame a whole industry for. It's more just thinking, shining a new light onto the film industry, thinking what could make this more accessible for younger people, especially people who struggle as well with social aspects and things like that. I think that is also something that's key within the industry. And I understand it's an incredibly social sort of industry.
There's a lot more opportunity than what there used to be. Like, for example, I've just done a BFI application for the Short Film Fund, and they're very, very inclusive.
Oh, yeah.
On hiring people who are not have as like accessibility towards the being on the crew, who have not had experience with it. They're way more. I think this is the best place for you to actually get in. It's just the reality is there was never that much jobs in the film industry to start off with.
Yeah, that's right.
That it's not a massive industry. It's quite a small industry. It's global, but it's small.
Yeah, definitely.
And you have to be at the top to get the right jobs and get the access. It's like anything. It's like fashion's the same, and it's like, so there aren't millions of jobs.
No.
You have to build a brand, create your career, create your name, and then people know who you are, and then people want to work with you, and then that's how it works.
Yeah, definitely.
But there is a lot more compared to what there used to be. Like for actual film sets now, they want to know that you're hiring people who have disadvantage or disabilities or come from a different background.
Just follow.
Yeah, this is a lot. There's a lot more inclusivity now in the film industry than what there used to be.
Oh, definitely. I think it's definitely turning into the right direction, the film industry, completely. I understand that from the 90s, it's completely a different industry. I think a lot of people are sort of what's the word? Resentful of that, maybe in some ways. I think a lot of the bigger industries in film are sort of reluctant for it to expand or grow any more than it is. And I think that, you just have to, obviously, it's such a competitive industry, and you just have to, obviously, work hard, but...
And just to add to what you said, there's a saying that said, go where there's no path, but leave a trail. Yeah, so leave a trail so other people would see that you survived this. Yeah, and then they could, because you've left a trail, people could go your trail and be successful. So yeah, that's good. I've just got a question. I'll let you crack on. What would you do differently if you were in charge of the film industry? Because you've talked about no space. You want to do something, but opportunities a bit less. So what would you do differently if you were in charge of the film industry?
I think this goes for not even just the film industry, just a lot of creative industries can be the same. I think just making it more accessible for people to be able to find out what opportunities are there. I think obviously a lot of them are sort of hush-hush for a reason, but making it more accessible, more inviting of people who maybe have less experience, or people who, or inviting like crash courses and things like that. I've done a lot of opportunities recently that have obviously given me experience, and that's something that I would do more, is creating more.
Obviously, I'm not an expert on the film industry, but with you talking there, like we're talking about building personal brand, and you were saying, that's what you've got to do to get yourself out there. These things you're talking about, like, young people not realising what the opportunities are, but you go out searching for those opportunities, is that can be part of your personal brand on your build up to everything else that you're trying to do. Is getting on, online on things like this, on social media, and informing people of the opportunities.
Yeah.
And start trying to solve that problem. And then that you doing that can be part of the wider sort of personal brand you want to build to get into then the film industry space that you obviously have a lot more expertise in than I do. But in terms of personal brand building, you know, you've got something there that you see as a problem that you can start trying to solve now.
Yeah.
Just through content, for example, and that will help you get your name out there.
I definitely think there's a lot of people like me who are, obviously your struggle right now in the industry is only going to be more impactful later when you eventually break through. Obviously I understand that right now I'm not particularly well experienced as a lot of other people, having just been graduated from film school, but I understand that that's something that I would like to highlight for other people like me.
I don't really think you're less experienced, because you've got your back to awards, so you shouldn't really look down on yourself that much. Yeah.
Thank you.
So, have you got something else you want to add?
I think I would just kind of summarize with the likes of the film industry, the music industry, the fashion industry, because I mean, you keep on speaking about opportunities. I just want to be really clear. This is not a job for everyone. The hours are long. They're like 12 to 14 shifts. It's freelance work most of the time, which is not stable. Even if you're at the top, I think like it was one of the comedians, and he said being an actor or a comedian, I think it was like Eddie Murphy or somebody like that, and he said is 99% being out of work, except for the one time you're actually on set and working.
Yeah.
This is not, I personally wouldn't, if you want stability and you want a stable career, I wouldn't suggest this.
Oh yeah.
It's like the 1% are the ones who are actually really making a lot of money and up there at the top. And this is why it is so hard. So I think opening up opportunities to these types of industries, I think they should be a little bit kind of done with a certain understanding of what you're walking into. Because like it's hard. It's really stressful. It's damaging mentally. It's long hours, and then you're out of work. And then you've got a freelance. It's not really a place. I think people should see what it's like, and if they want to do it. But you've got to sacrifice a lot to make a lot.
Yeah.
I would just, sorry to interrupt.
It's all right.
I'm so passionate about. I could do a whole podcast on this. But yeah, I think if you're gonna express about opportunities, I think also do it with a side salad of this is the reality of what the film industry is like. Because opening these spaces up to people thinking that they're going to have great careers and benefits and sick pay is just a load of crap. So
okay, go on. Sorry.
sorry.
I think it's exactly my point. Obviously, that is the reality of the film industry. It's sort of just thinking, what could there be done to maybe change that? Because I think it's unsustainable at the moment. To obviously with what's it called? Sorry. What's it called? We have such younger people at the moment of such low income, and we're just trying to survive and trying to break through in these industries, especially if you're a creative person. I've so many people around me that are trying to break in, just getting through. And I think I understand that industry should be hard to get into because you need to be talented, you need to be completely passionate about it. But I do think that maybe there is sort of some contention to think that there could be something else that could be done about this.
I think start a side business. I think start a side hustle so that you've got financial. This is where you come into play. So that you've got something that could fund you while you go and do something freelance.
But that side hustle could be within this. So you want to be a filmmaker, and this is the thing, a bit more confidence. Like when I sat down and said, "Oh, what do you do?" So I want to be a filmmaker. No, you are a filmmaker. You made a film. Someone says, "What do you want to do?" I don't want to. I am doing it. I'm a filmmaker. But I don't want to say too many names of people on it. Just like, but there's a lad that I know who similar about it, he wanted to make films. And he wasn't getting into the industry, but he needed money. So he set up his own small business, creating, creating video for businesses. And that moved on then. Moved on to then people noticing his skills. He built a team. He's now making sort of bigger films for brands, that sort of thing. And you could start up something small where you've got the equipment, you've got the knowledge, where you can start advertising yourself. Do you need a training video made? I mean, a lot of people are using AI, and that's a whole new conversation. But I think very quickly people are going to start realizing that the personal touch is better. But, a small business where you go in and film for other businesses or for groups who need some content doing, that sort of thing. And then that's not the end goal, but that then starts building the personal brand and getting you out there. And even just like an information channel on social media, be very realistic. I mean, I didn't realize how hard it was and how close-knit it was. Be realistic with people, but then they're good hooks. This is the truth about the film industry. And people are, oh, really? I'll listen to this.
Exactly.
And it builds up that personal brand while doing something on the side.
Regarding what you just said, I've got a suggestion. How about being an online platform to give people where they're filming over there, apply there. They've got a film crew here, apply in the studio. Because it's information at the end of the day. So you could be like, I've got this online platform. If you want to know the next filming dates for this movie, you could apply there. This is the director, social media for the director. So you could just have an online platform that you manage, because you're trying to solve a problem in the industry, because you said there's no space for other people. But you could reach out to all the directors. I have an online platform. I want to know the movie is going to come out 1 year from now. I want to inform people to apply on the job. So have an online platform. And also, just to add to what you said, Dwayne Johnson said the same thing. It was a big star, big wrestler, but translating that popularity from being a wrestler to being an actor was really hard. Yeah, it took time, and people tried to lowball him, offer low money, and then he was like, no, I believe I'm worth this. You're going to pay me this. If no, I'm not going to do it. But it took time. At the end of the day, there's a testimony. So, yeah. Do you want to add something before we jump into the next guest, or? All right.
We'll go on forever about this topic.
I think this was really good. But we've actually eaten through time. So we're just going to jump into Jane. Jane, share your story, and let's see how we could support you. Yeah.
So I am a nominated filmmaker. I'm a writer, actress, model, and I have a party business, and I'm working on my first book as well. So real entrepreneur, loads of fingers, loads of pies.
So Jane, you've been in the session before.
I have.
Yeah. So on the previous, yeah. So you shared your story, but now you want to talk about your book.
Yeah, today I'm going to talk about my book. So my book is, ironically, as we were just having this conversation, films take time, they take money, they take networking and commissioning. So I decided to kind of optimize on my writing ability because my film got nominated. So I have now worked on my book, and I'm going to go down the publishing space. I'm actually submitting it tomorrow. So.
Okay, that's good.
Nervous. They could be like, what is this? Absolutely not. I'll go, oh man. But what I have done, and I would suggest this to anybody who is thinking about publishing, because I'm going to go down the generic publishing route. Sod self-publishing. It would take forever. Yeah, you might get the whole money. So like if somebody buys it, you will get it all. But then you've got to think about distribution and all of that jazz. Being a business owner, I know it's not worth it. I want a faster entry. So I'm going to go down the publishing. What I'm doing is I'm doing a taster of my material. So I'm doing a PDF file that's got my story, what it's about, my hypnosis. And then I'm doing a 4 chapters with my logo and all of that jazz, and I'm sending it in to the publisher. So don't write the whole book first. Maybe do a first draft, but then take a submission and see if you've got interest in it, because writing a book takes forever.
So what's the drive behind writing a book? What's the story?
Money.
I like that.
Straight up. Money, honey. I'm using my story.
Okay.
I'm saying my life.
Okay.
I've put a bit of made it a bit more spicy. Why not? But money is why I'm doing it. I'm not doing OnlyFans. Right? That's it.
Well, that's
anything else?
Yeah, I think we've got a lot of nominated people on the bench. You have an award. So suggest where can I get mine or something?
Your award. Go and do it.
I've got 2 awards so far.
I've got 2 awards. Amazing.
Is there something happening here? Where's mine? Okay. Oh, so yeah,
Filmmaker.
yeah. Our
So what's
cameraman's got one.
Award, well,
Yeah, maybe I just need to excuse myself.
You can have one of mine.
yeah.
Okay.
You're not having one of mine. Yeah.
All right.
Work hard for that.
So Johnny, I'm going to let you carry on. Have you got a suggestion about what she said? Yeah.
I mean, it's not my area, and you obviously seem like you know what you're doing. You've obviously got that anxiety over maybe they might see it and be like, oh no, that's nothing. But what I could offer is, and again, I don't want to say names on it because I don't want to say someone's name, someone see it and then start flooding people with messages. But I know I have in our network a very accomplished writer and TV presenter who delivers sessions. There's one coming up actually in a few weeks. Delivers sessions all about this subject and how to get your book published. So I can share his details after with you. But again, personal brand gets things out there. And I think, I don't know what your socials are like, for example, but in terms of wanting the money and getting it sold, isn't it? And, promoting that through the story itself, through whatever medium you decide to do.
I think, sorry for interrupting. I think for me, I'm going to wait until I get interest in the publishers because I'm not trying to self-promote it. And I think sometimes people push for something that you haven't even got. I haven't even got the copy of it yet, so I can't sell it.
Yeah.
And I think you should push and sell for something when it's ready to buy and you've got a link to it.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to talk to somebody and then be like, oh yeah, I really want it. And you'll be like, yeah, be about a year.
Yeah. I mean,
Come back in then.
There's a lot to be said for, I mean, I'll use Simon as an example. Like he obviously knew his book was going to get published and he started pre-selling 7 months before.
Really?
6-7 months before. And it was on the Times bestseller list before it sold on that top of Amazon. But then if you're unsure as to whether but then you've got the following, if you're unsure as to whether it's going to get published and when, then yeah, one of the good strategies I've seen, a poet, I was never into poetry and I started watching this guy on TikTok. Lucas Jones he's called. And he was, obviously poems are different because a book's not sort of separate pieces, but he was just reading his poetry, just reading. And then he's built that into a book. And then before it's been published, he's then started promoting the book and pre-selling. And again, it was, I don't know, number 8 in the poetry charts or something. But from a sort of promotional point of view, if that's what you want to do, once it's ready, excerpts from the book that create good content can then help get that out there when it's at that point. But I mean, that's sort of my offering is the actual promotion side when it's done. Again, I'm not a published author or sort of in that area, but I can certainly connect you with this gentleman to speak to. He's
Yay. Well, okay, that's good. And do you know what? It goes towards your brand. Because if people Google you online, they're going to see you've written a book. So yeah, it goes towards your brand. And these days, you want to get everything now there. If you don't want to let people view perception about you, that's not controlled. You want to control everything. If you're seeing this, it's because I'm letting you see it. So it's good. I like the fact you're writing a book. Do you want to write one for me?
The 2 best ways to get yourself out there now from a personal brand point of view, especially at the moment, everyone thinks TikTok, Instagram, whatever, it's book and podcast.
Yeah.
Like if you've got something you can put into a book that has value and you can get onto as many podcasts as you can or start your own, that's the way forward. Do you have a podcast?
I should.
You should have a podcast.
Really
you need a podcast.
Yeah, coming soon.
My actual business, because I wasn't really talking about that here today, is we are over the next few months taking on, or all being well, taking on a very large mill space, which is going to be a content destination. As opposed to a studio, it's in an area of natural beauty and there's all the outside area. And we have a CIC separate, so we're going to bring youth through to be trained. But one of the things we're going to have is a podcast studio in the studio. So I'm going to get you in for a podcast because
cool. Yeah, I love that.
I don't know what we'll talk about because if we go film industry, you're going to end up shouting at me the whole time and I won't know what you're talking about. We need a podcast.
Unfortunately, as our manager, the payment has to go through me. So
yeah.
All right. So have you got something to say?
Obviously, I'm just starting in the film industry. You seem a very, very experienced person in the film industry.
Thanks.
I think just drawing from my experience when I pitched my film, I think I obviously had I was so scared about it because I was thinking, my film is too cringe. People aren't going to understand it. People aren't going to understand the message, or think, it's too far-fetched. And I think you've got to have the confidence within yourself to know that it's something that's good, and not have the confidence to send it off and think, if I get a rejection, I'll just go to the next person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Things like that. Yeah, exactly. I imagine you do. So
Yeah. No, I think it's more like, I think because I've done a business, like, and this is what I mean, and maybe this is something that should really be looked at. Because I've done a business, the creative stuff doesn't really bother me as much. Because I think, like, when you're creative, you're very passionate and you're very sensitive about it, and it means a lot to you, and you've got all that passion there, and it's beautiful and it means something. But then you got to get money from it, and you got to sell it, and you got to brand it, and you got to go down channels, and it's like, because I've done both now, it's like I just know, I know that the right amount of emotion with the right amount of marketing, the right amount of audience, now that's the magic spell.
yeah,
Do you see what I mean?
Definitely.
And it's just kind of, once you've got that channel and you've done it before, then you can replicate it. So whether it be a book, film, music, song, it's just the same three things, really.
You end up building a community around yourself as well, and a community wants to support the person that's around.
Yeah, people like people. Like, that's so simple. People like people. And if you're a passionate, good person, and you've got something to say, and you know how to deliver stories, that people, they should buy it.
I definitely think it helps to have sort of a USP to yourself, and especially when I'm promoting my film, I think it's something that's quite niche to a lot of people, and a lot of people who've seen it have said, like, they've felt resonated with it in a certain way that's not mainstream. And I think creating that as a sort of brand for yourself is definitely what I'm thinking of what I'm doing at the moment, and sort of creating a message for people who are a little bit more shadowed away from the industry, sort of shadowed away from the mainstream.
So what's your USP?
So, like, my film is a queer film about it's called I Home for Christmas. It's about 4 queer people who decide to stay home for Christmas, and a lot of people have said it resonated with them, especially during COVID-19 lockdowns. A lot of people said it was their experience during Christmas, and I think when I base that around myself and my audience, I think there can be more stories that can be said, and I can think of more ideas. That makes sense.
All right. So I've got a question. So what's a painful truth about your industry that no one talks about? So everyone could just answer it. So what's a painful truth about your industry that no one talks about?
Is that there's still this culture in not just business but in life that everything has to be transactional. Like, if I'm going to do something for you, like, I'm going to invite you on a podcast, but then I want you to go and promote my podcast on your social media, or I want to be in your book or in a film. Like, and that's not how it is, and it's not how it needs to be. Like, everything we do is completely without any expectation. And so people are often afraid to ask for help in fear that they've got nothing to give in return, when actually there's a whole community of people out there, not just with us, anywhere, where they're happy to help. And I think people are starting to realize now that actually it doesn't have to be transactional. I can give away this free service, or I can give away a day of my time to help you with this. Because although I'm not expecting anything back, by the nature of the world, karma, if you were, it's going to come back to me, even if it's just in the pleasure of, giving in my time to help somebody. And it's something we say the industry, it's the whole business world. Like, people don't ask for help when they should be, because although, like, you've got to forge your own path, say on your journey with filmmaking, there are times when you're going to need help with something along the way. And if you're getting to points in your entrepreneurial journey or your life where you need help and you're not asking for it, you're not going to get to that place you want to be. And I'd say that's the problem that we face all the time, is people actually asking for help and wanting to give it without thinking, I want something back.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
What about you? What's a painful truth in this
Almost
industry?
sort of the same thing as well. It's just a lot of these networking opportunities. It's, well, I scratch your back if you scratch mine. But a lot of people are in the boat where I have nothing really to give to you. I have nothing really to offer. I'm just starting out. This is just my starting place. So I think that's definitely an issue within sort of these networking opportunities that are advertised. I don't think there's enough people that are there that are experienced enough to give out this experience for the people. And also, I do think a lot of people are saying, well, I'm scared to ask for help because I don't have the experience that's needed.
Okay.
And obviously, as I've said as well, obviously the accessibility aspect as well, I think that's something that's especially for someone that haven't had the opportunity like me to go to film school or to even study a film course, it's very difficult to find where to even start, unless you know someone or you owe someone a job. So that's basically what.
Okay, well, that's good. Jane, what's a painful truth about your industry that no one talks about?
I do think they talk about it. I think it takes about 10, 15 years to really build a brand. And, you know, it's not it's like a life commitment. I think if you really want to get to Steven Spielberg level,
Oh yeah.
or, you know, Leonardo and the thing, ironically, you can make it later in life. I mean, I can't think of the actor now. Oh, I can see his face, but I can't think of. A lot of actors basically have made it later in life. That's all what I'm going to say. But it's a lifetime commitment, and I think the industry doesn't really tell you that. And everybody wants to become famous overnight.
Do you think it's just about the film industry or anything you do?
That's a good question. It depends what you're doing, and it depends what you're like. If you do music as well, I'm sure that would also be a lifetime commitment. And I think fashion has that level of commitment as well to it. I think if you just really want to be bloody successful, you got to work at it forever.
Yeah.
And you've got to spend a lot of time that you ain't going to get paid.
Yeah.
That's like such a true. And entrepreneurs will get that. Filmmakers get that. Music people get that. Fashion people get that. Like, if you want to let your dream pay you, you've got to pay it forward first.
But I've got a question, especially in the film industry. Everyone has got a peak season, even musicians and people that sing songs. You've got that peak season where it's your time, you're trendy, everyone knows about you, and then you just die. So if I've invested 10 years of my life learning how to sing, learning how to be an actor, and then for some reason I just die off.
Because not everybody's an icon.
Okay.
Not everybody's an icon. Some people are just a one-hit wonder. Some people are very good at being great once.
But it's just, even in the film industry,
That felt differently.
there's just about 1% of people that stay for a very long
Forever.
time.
Yeah. Because like forever is a lifetime commitment.
100%.
But like you get, if you really want to make it in this town, kid, you're going to spend hours and days, weeks, years not being paid for it.
Yeah.
Do you know, I've got friends that quit school because the parents were like, my son is going to be a big footballer. Yeah. And then they just quit school and then they chase the dream. They're 30 years now.
Yep.
No fame, no money. Yeah. So I do understand.
I think a lot of people, especially with social media now, I think a lot of people think that I can just, get famous within a week, and I can just work on myself and work on social media and I'll be famous overnight. It doesn't work like that,
It's a whole. Sorry, go on.
No,
I was gonna say it's a whole 5-hour podcast about social media. But it's the most amazing tool in the world, and it's also the worst thing to ever happen to us.
Yeah.
People need to. There needs to be something out there to educate people on, deciphering between what's real and what's not, and what you should and shouldn't listen to.
Yeah.
It's great for educating. It's great for getting your name out there. It's great for building a brand, building a business, for promoting yourself. But at the same time, it's full. We had a conversation about this on a Zoom call yesterday, about just how shiny life can look. And I've gone through a really rough period these last 2 months. And on the surface, a Help Bank ambassador, he's got this business, he does this, he does this, he does this. And I overshared yesterday in this call, and one person came away crying because they were so happy that somebody else and somebody that they've looked at and gone, "You're doing amazing." I'm like, I'm not. I had 2 days, 2 weeks ago, I didn't eat anything, just to make sure the kids were fed. But my social media would make you think that, I'm on top of the world.
Yeah.
Like, oh, he's mates with Simon and he's doing this and he's doing this. Like, it's not reality.
I think that's something that's becoming a lot more popular now, is people showing the realities and actually showing, well, this is what I'm going through.
Which is why truthful storytelling on social media is the key.
Exactly.
Show everything.
Just a quick one before we round up. I've got 2 questions, so just 10-minute chip in and out. Would you do a job for free if it was meant to be? The aim is to build your brand, would you do a job for free?
Yes, I do all the time.
Okay, why? Why would you do?
Because free has value. So one, it feel, and you'll see when you see the bio that I put in today, I like to help people, and I have a whole backstory behind why I like to help people, and why I get pleasure out of that. So that's one. The other thing is that why not? Like if someone says to me, "Oh, Johnny, can you come and help me film this bit of content today? I can't pay you." If I have something else I have to go and do, then yeah. But if I'm going to be sat at home watching Netflix, why wouldn't I go and do that?
Okay.
Like, and again, by the nature of the world, like I don't expect anything for that. I don't want any money for it. But in a year's time, that person might then have a business that needs my services, and he goes, "Johnny," and then they come along and use my services.
Okay.
So
Would you do
why
a job
don't
for free?
I mean, yes, definitely.
Okay.
Coming from the industry, I think you have to. A lot of people have to do jobs for free, unpaid opportunities. I think for me, that would be to an extent.
Okay. To an extent. Oh, that's good. Would you do a job for free if it's meant to be a brand?
Career, yes. So anything really, like if it was within reason. So like if it was to work with a really big fashion photographer or a really big actor, maybe, and I know that it could get me out there. Business, absolutely not. Absolutely not, honey.
Okay. So
You gotta pay for my service, honey. I ain't doing it for free.
okay.
I think like what I said, like someone said, "Oh, can you come film this content for free?" Now, obviously, if some random person I'd never met before wanted a video doing for the business, and it's like, "I can't afford it. Can you come and do this?" It's like, "I'm sorry, really, I can't." And you have to make sure your own cup's full before you start trying to help someone fill their own.
It definitely
But,
depends on who.
If it's somebody who obviously really needs the help, it's someone that I know, someone that I'm connected with in some way, and I know that it'll help them. Then if I can, I will do.
Yeah.
Even with my friends, when it comes to business, if they wanted my
Follow me,
service.
friends,
You got to pay it, and you want. There's no mates rates. There's no mates
I
rates.
hate mates rates. Like if you've got a friend who has a business, you pay them. And
Yeah,
At the
you're
end of
right.
the day,
100%, yeah.
Shell doesn't give stuff away for free, does it? Or like,
Yeah.
big brands don't do that because they're not stupid. It's a service. Like,
Exactly.
So
pay your people.
Yeah.
Before we go, do you think AI is sort of disrupting your industry? Just 1 second, 10 seconds. Yeah.
In my industry, I mean, hell, it's not an industry, but in that environment, did you say disrupting it?
Yeah.
Are we talking for better or worse, or just in
For
general?
worse, not for better, for worse.
I think no. I think that within what Help Bank does, they use AI for various background things that helps. I think given the environment I'm in, where with people sort of giving up their time to help each other, the delivery of all the things that we sort of do, I think with anything, I don't think AI can ever outdo personal touch and human interaction.
Really, on one of the episodes we had, one of the guests, he said there need to be regulations around AI. He said it's just as if we need to see AI, so like firearms. That's AI. So before you get AI, you need a license. So, and I do believe it's disrupting a lot of people losing jobs. And AI is now too perfect where with just one script you could get a full movie.
Yeah.
So and its quality is good, content is good.
Yeah, but what jobs were they losing? Were they losing jobs where they were really hired on the delivery and the quality of their own individuality? Or were they are they losing jobs that anybody could have done?
But, firstly you need to understand there's an entry barrier. And before you get to a stage where you're too big and too noticeable to be ignored, you're going to start from scratch. But the scratch job, which is not jobs that are not too quality, AI can now do it. So the jobs that are not too great, AI could, and those are the little jobs that normal editors, cameramen would do and go get £100 from. But now I could just sit from my house. I could just ask an AI to design a picture for me. Now the graphic designer is out of job. I could ask an AI to design this flyer for me or this design for me and do perfection. It's really good. Something is going to take another person, a human, 4 hours. The AI could just do it for me and then in 10, 20 seconds.
It's certainly
It's
that
out.
sort of area of the creative industry, social media marketing as well. Social media marketers are going to be stuck because there's so much they can do it in the background. There are still going to be people that want that personal touch. I mean, I can go on AI and do, all sorts. But I would rather, if I had the money to do it, pay somebody to manage my social media, for example, than have AI do it. Because you still got to manage that yourself. And if it goes wrong, you haven't got a clue. Like most people have real base level, they're using ChatGPT as Google type people.
Yeah.
Like they have a real base level knowledge of how to use it. Like, I can go on, I can follow instructions, I can set this up to manage all my comments and things on Instagram. But when it goes wrong, it's like, I actually don't know how to fix that. And then you've got to pay someone to do it anyway. I'd rather have a person that I can speak to daily doing that sort of task. So I think in some areas it's going to have a hit, and then further down the line, people are going to be like, actually, I feel like human interaction. But like when you're saying there about flyers, posters, posts, not necessarily the actual video content, but the posts. Like it does make no sense to get someone to do it if it's a poster for an event that's coming up. Why? And people who own like print shops, that sort of thing, that have been around for years, they're going to really suffer. It doesn't make sense to pay them.
Something you could pay a UGC creator to do, to maybe advertise your brand. AI would do it perfectly without stuttering. Before, the mouth wasn't moving, but now the mouth moves and it looks like a real human. So
it's still AI, and I think a lot of people can notice it, and I think it does annoy people. Like, I see something, it does look pitch perfect, but I'm like, that's AI content. Like, no effort's gone into that.
Maybe because you're a bit techie, but sometimes it's now too perfect, but you might not know. You might need that thing for details to understand that this is AI.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think it's definitely affecting my industry completely. As someone who wants to be in art department as well, having that AI just completely take over my job is definitely a scary and real thing that's happening right now. But I do think it has to come to an end at some point. I think there has to be something that's stopping it.
Okay. So do you think
it's like regulations and things like that?
So you think the bubble is going to bust very soon?
Definitely.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Sorry, were you saying something?
No.
All right. Thank you guys for all the support and all the advice. This will be the end of the session. Thank you very much for watching, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
This is Legacy Bench, where professionals, founders, and creators come together to share real ideas, real experiences, and real advice, hosted by Princely.